All right, let's do one more before we move on to my favorite part of the show.
What do you think is the best way for somebody to stay informed of policy changes? I feel like it's very important to keep up with changes in policy, but what do you feel like is the best way for people to stay up to date and become aware of changes that are being implemented?
So this is something that I have done and I advocate for. There's two things I can that come to my mind. Number one, when you log into Seller Central homepage, there is a lot of updates there. First of all, log in every day and keep an eye on those, because Amazon is a huge company, so many different departments doing so many different things, releasing new things. So the only way they communicate those, nobody's going to come knocking on your door. They just release it inside Seller Central. So keep an eye on those, all the recent developments or changes or whatever, they do publish it there. The second thing is there is something called seller forums that you can log in with your primary username. And that's where you have, it's basically a forum with all kinds of categories, subjects, threads. You can do a search, and Amazon employees, Amazon representatives are also users there. In many cases, you post a question, other sellers will respond, and then you will see Amazon employees. You can see the flag and the logo. And so I say between keeping a close eye on Seller Central announcements and seller forums, being active in seller forums and keeping an eye, those would be the ways that I can think of.
I would say there's one other thing that a lot of sellers sort of take for granted or assume, and that is that if you're FBA, that Amazon's going to handle all of the customer service for you. And my response to that is maybe, but if you want to act in your own best interest, you should be checking your messaging daily and definitely doing everything you can to take care of the customer, and don't just push them back to Amazon representatives for support. You know, if they reach out to you, do whatever you can to reach out, to respond, to provide excellent customer service.
Well, they have a metric. So you have buyer-seller messages. So those buyer-seller messages are your responsibility as a seller, and they need to see you handling those in a timely manner. And they have two metrics, responded over 24 hours or under 24 hours, and it shows the count. Now, the last I had anything to do with that metric, I was told it may have changed. I don't know the latest use of it, but I was told that this is not a metric that will be considered for account suspensions. Doesn't affect it. It just, like if your ODR shoots up, it goes over 1%, you are in, dangerous territory. But if you don't answer any of the messages for, I don't know, 3 days, 4 days consistently, your metric is going to go through the roof. But does it cause anything? I don't know. Last I checked was a long time ago. They said it's not a cause for suspension.
If nothing else, though, it's going to likely result in an upset customer and potentially A to Z claim.
Yeah, well, I mean, look at it this way. If it's a pre-sale inquiry, you're losing a sale. If it's a post-sale inquiry, you are likely to get a refund request and an A to Z claim and a negative seller feedback, and potentially a negative rating for the product. Why do that? Answer the emails. Keep an eye on them, and if there is one, answer it right away.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. So this was we really covered the most essential parts of managing your seller activity, so to speak, as the account holder. which often gets neglected. And everybody wants to start selling and work on keywords, listings. You know, without an account, you got nothing. And it's so easy to get in trouble.